Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, listeners and viewers. Manla Suleiman Suare DLCC Facebook Live. Just to respond to question asked during the GRAB diasporan conference being Amonte Birmingham. First of all, before Madam Further, Nane, thank you very much to GRAB and bravo for the initiative and organizing such a successful, well-attended conference. Thank you to all participants, all panelists, Dr. Mantra Drame, Koto Ablai Job, Koto James Bahom, Bamba Mas, Prince Bojang, and all the organizers. The food was delicious, refreshment, coffee, and everything was provided. And all the participants, and thank you very much for send participations and send contributions see that conference. And the reason not of my reply to these questions, there are questions been asked during the conference, but during to Gambian time, Gambian see turning up on time as always. While in the new constitution, then was something about timekeeping. Gambian constitution was then something about timekeeping. And a lady called Jenga Afro Afro-Licious show move on the cover show program and mu collect on certain questions from Facebook and mu jox ma questions yi pour ma try to deal with them. Ma ne ma ñëw Facebook Live to respond to these questions. And the first question is, what is going to happen to the Gambians in the diaspora that have claimed political asylum? Unfortunately, I'm a lawyer, and it's a difficult question, but now I could try to answer according to my understanding of the asylum applications or the laws as I know it, because I was once an Musmanika asylum seeker, but I'm familiar with it because I'm now families and friends who are, and I'm on Nasi interest because of that bit. Yes, people who have already applied asylum, depend now. Su nekkee you already jox nañ la asylum, des na lan lañ la jox. Suñ la joxee indefinite leave to remain, that's indefinite leave to remain. Suñ la joxee a period, probably 4 years, 5 years, that period to expire, obviously amatuloo benn valid reason unless nga am any condition will change in the Gambia boo xam ne affect na la yow pour meet na requirements yi to ask for your extension of stay. Because of the reason lu tax ñu jox la a temporal asylum mooy ne feel nañ ne sa condition or sa case warranted a permanent asylum. Probably a case merited probably dañoo manage files yi, they issue certain time to make sure nañ mun a manage seen case files yi, and after that time they can assess to seize the application, set the merit of that application. So nekkee nag amatuloo benn merit to stay in the country for that case, but that doesn't stop you from reapplying to change your status. Mun ngaa change the status depending on lan. Mun ngaa apply for compassionate grounds because of what yaa ngi am family ties, yaa ngi am, you can appeal on their goodwill. Wane ne yaa ngi integrated into society and every other. You go to a lawyer, they advise you. I think the question is best suited to a lawyer, but as far as I know, every case will be looked at individually. Duñ xool duñ dem across the board penalize everybody or rule on everybody or at the same day. Case bu nekk la fa am merit some, and they have to go through those cases. So during your time of application, or time buñ la jox di asylum, probably sa condition change na. Probably am nga fi doom, probably am nga fi jëkkër, or am nga fi jabar, and all those things. Probably you have a better job, probably am nga better qualifications. You just have to improve yourself during the period of your stay, and when you are a model citizen, and all those things will come back to send assessment, come back to their assessment, and that's as far as I can understand. That's the case, but it's best to speak to a immigration specialist. Ñu xool seen case yi atam am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi am pending case. Yes, ñu am pending case, they have to think about it, because so I'm a pending case, and in most cases, so case we do validate because of Gambia would turn to be a democracy. But still now, I'm not a lawyer. Better settle. Still now, so case we didn't go judge across. No, then go check according to merits. Moto lulu yeptam. It's best to speak to a lawyer about it. Now, that's far as we understand that question. The next question, what are your plans about with Gambia and the Commonwealth? Okay, and what are your plans? Okay, Fagnane, the question was meant to say, what is the plan of the new government? Okay, this is an opinion. At why Fagnane Gambians, every progressive, and I want the audacity to claim I represent the same, but Hamnane, their view on this. Gambia is a natural member of the Commonwealth due to our history. It was just because of Yajame, Banya Kuko take to account Motomu Genyu Commonwealth. The Commonwealth offer very benefits. For very benefits, especially to the average citizen, but to the government of the Gambia itself. Ben responsible government, ben democratic government, do gain a bopam in an association like the Commonwealth. You have countries, I forgot those countries. I'm not countries they are not natural in their history. The ties to be part of the Commonwealth, but they are applying, or they have applied and joined the Commonwealth because of the benefits Bunekas Commonwealth. I.e., the examples, the benefit Bunekas Commonwealth, the Commonwealth, especially for a poor country like the Gambia, Commonwealth will do help to help your democratic institutions, then yet help civil society institutions in capacity building, and just like the position of the judiciary, the Gambian judiciary from the beginning. Time when I'm Philip Bridges as the Chief Justice, going on to most of our judges, they were supplied at the training of judges, training of lawyers, training of clerks, training of all the capacities for the judicial system, and the maintenance of the judicial system, and the improvement of the judicial system. The Commonwealth be done among law. And in the side of the educational sector, the same thing. I'm not scholarships body. It comes through the Commonwealth. The whole in the police, in governance, in every other sector, where have never helped democracy pour mu digger. Commonwealth be neka no lo hamne ñom luñje itola. Tetam neka no lo hamne so si boké na dé joxe chance pour ñu dimbalé la pour nga improve sa life of the people, because of di nga am the expert advices and every other emergency su amé di nga gis ne you can appeal to them directly, and then to take la with urgency, and su crisis amé they will have to react as soon as possible, because you are a member state. And the Gambia, as far as I know, musuma dega ñu am problem with the comment. I don't think the contribution to the Commonwealth is much, or musuma dega mu nekk an issue. Xam naa ne the African organizations ñu bokk ay ECOWAS, ay AU, and we do have problem in contributing to those organizations. But Commonwealth bi musuma dega. It's not something that it costs us. It's something that we benefit from. But another side of the benefit of the Commonwealth mooy for Gambian citizens ñu nekk in other countries foo xam ne Gambia amul fa consulate or Gambia amul fa embassy di nga gis ne in the passport of the Gambia dang dee am what you call the Gambia and Commonwealth citizen da nga nekk a Gambian citizen but you are a citizen of the Commonwealth nga xam ne su emergency amee also amee problem that passport and being a holder of a Commonwealth citizen mun ngaa dem to the British consulate or the British ambassador pour mu assist la for whatever consular rights or privileges you ask for. Atam soo nekkee in England di nga gis ne in fact there are certain laws yoo xam ne duñ ko exercise in England but for certain immigrants of non-Commonwealth countries in fact dañ war a di report there are ancient laws yoo xam ne mun nañ ko enact anytime but soo nekkee citizen Commonwealth citizen dang dee am right to vote in elections dang dee am right to join public services dang dee right to join the security service dang dee am lot of recognition because of better yaa ngi under the crown of Her Majesty the Queen. Yes, it's one of the institutions yoo xam ne organizations yoo xam ne dafa beneficial for Gambia and the moo la woon ne the selfishness the ruthlessness the disregard bu Yaya Jammeh amoon for Gambians and Gambian lives Gambian interests everything it was for himself moo tax mu bañoon génne ñu si Commonwealth foog naa ne to be quite honest based on all this benefit and the new government coming obviously it's going to be government for the people because it's a democratic elected government and obviously the support based on everything else is one of the legislations they have to revisit and then deal with it as soon as possible. And because we will need access to the Commonwealth to do our reforms, we need Commonwealth to help us with the judiciary to construct all the frameworks and the structures we need in order to deal with the cases and all the commissions or the inquiries. We need the Commonwealth. For that is one of the first legislations you have. Apart from the working, the Delaware to work on a Friday, one of the things we have to go back to normal. Digala, thank you very much, Maricham. They definitely grab. They are wonderful. And before I Fatina approve services, it's a money transfer business. Bohamne is Gambian owned, Gambian run. And they sponsor this. This conference, and they do sponsor a lot of diasporan events, and obviously they do sponsor a lot of activities. It's geared towards Democrat. Stop that call. They approve services. Yes, no sponsor this project. The conference. And apart from this conference, then they support a lot of Gambian charities, Gambian fundraising, and anything progressive for Gambia. And let's patronize them. It's one of the it's Gambian owned, Gambian run. Let's patronize Gambian products. And the third question, I want to know: will the Gambia diasporan media be regulated? And I don't know. I'm calling this question. I want to know: will the Gambia diasporan media be regulated? And Munuma understand what mean the Gambian diasporan media. Social media cannot be regulated. It's a completely free press. Regulations, diaspora before neka, every country under media law. We have to abide by the media law of that country. There's nothing like Gambia diasporan bohamne. We have our own law. We cannot constitute laws. We abide by the laws of that state. Kuneka America, you have to go through the federal law. Kuneka England, you have to go through the laws of the United Kingdom law, or Wales and Northern Ireland, and Scotland and Northern Ireland. Kuneka Belgium or whatever, you have to abide by that law or the regulations you have. So in the European Union country, the regulations they And all those regulations are completely free press la. And social media, that's the beauty of social media. And moo tax social media nekk the vehicle boo xam ne moo help the fight for fight for justice, fight for equality, fight for social justice. Di nga gis ne anything loo xam ne social justice moo ko def. Soo gisee the last 10 years, all the revolutions, all the movements become powerful because of the accessibility to social media. You can rally people, you can reach out to people, you can communicate, you can agitate, you can motivate, you can do everything with social media. Then press regulation, there's nothing like a diasporan press regulation. And as we live in sovereign countries, every country has its own law. And if you live in a sovereign country, you have to abide by the laws of that land. The fourth question is, the Gambian people voted for change. What are the main change will you enforce first? Yes, probably for now, I'm not viewers, you don't view conference. We probably, because of, we have Honorable Usainu Dabo, we have Honorable Oje Jallo. Honorable Usainu Dabo was streamed live to the conference. And address the conference. And Honorable Oje Jallo was recorded because he was here during the week. But he had to go back to Gambia on Friday, Motamuntro attend, and they had to record his speech, and he gave a speech on the diaspora. Yes, this question is said, the Gambia people voted for change. What are the main challenges will you enforce first? And I think this is directed to the government. Okay, I would take it as an individual, as a citizen. Sumane, my opinion would be, what changes will you enforce first? Yes, obviously after the anything that brings peace and stability first. And peace and stability more the security. We have to make sure the country is secure. We have to make sure the government is secure. And obviously the fourth thing of everything more we have to start to review every institution, every department. And obviously, we have to start to look at the laws, the constitution, the laws, and some of these executive orders. We have to scrap all of them. All of the executive orders to President-elect Nyoye, probably the fourth day. And the government in wait would come up normally. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Normally, the government, government, they come with a 100-day plan to tell you the plan they have for the first 100 days. And in that case, one would be the executive orders. As I said, something like the not working on Friday. But straight away, the government, you don't need a law. How President is out. We're going back to work on Friday. We have a lot of work to do. And they settle on Saturday. Every Saturday of the week. We can say we're going to suspend it, depending on the review. We have to be responsible. Then cost suspend. The initiative might be okay, good, but it wasn't consumed right. It was dictated. Then to consult people, they have to look at it and do it effectively, make sure more productive. Then su nekkee ne review nañ ko, gis nañ the benefits and check nañ ko, put nañ everything in perspective, then they can come and bring it back, rebrand ko, jox ko nit ñi, and let it be people's initiative. Some things like that, all those executive orders, something like the plastic ban, plastic carrier bag ban. It has to be suspended. It's a good thing, environmental friendly and all this, but it wasn't done properly. You just don't get up and ban something. Yooyu yëpp la fa need review. Moo tax ma ne la, most of these things, what you do, you suspend them and open to review. And go constitute the commissions or the bodies, you talk, review all these things. And those are the things that happen. And then, not much to say about this, because we have a responsible government, we have elected a government, we have a confidence and trust in that government. Te xam naa ne suñ ñëwee, they will address us for their first 100 days, what they're going to do. But as a private citizen, obviously, the constitution. And suñ waxee constitution, it shouldn't take us long. It doesn't take us long. Because of what constitution we need, we are not reinventing the world. There's not much wrong with the 1970 constitution. Yes, the constitutions fundamentally, basic rights and Magna Carta and all those things will be there. It's still there. The problem is not the unwritten constitution. The problem that abiding by the constitution. If Yahya Jammeh have not tampered with that constitution, and even abide with that constitution, what should have been enough? Because all the rights and freedoms of the citizens are in that constitution. But we can go back to the 1970 constitution, whole areas that we need to change and this thing, and it can be done in a short time. And remember, we have experienced people on the ground, and people have been pondering on this. We can have a national conference, and all this thing can be done swiftly. And make a very progressive constitution, and we move on. Yes, and the change that will happen would be the change, Bohanne. It's not dictated to people. Change should not be dictated to people. Consultation should be happening, and the should have not them to civil society, not them to parliament. People have to lobby their parliament. People have to bring up their ideas. People have to contribute, to make sure that the change. It's not from the top down. It should be. It's going to be from bottoms up. That's the government we ask for. Everything has to change in the good. There's not much good left in the country. We have a competent government, and we have sober people, and we have the diaspora, and I am quite confident that diaspora be nañ taxaw fofu and do their bit. And the most relevant and challenging question, Jammeh once said that there will be no inauguration on the 19th. My question is, if he does not allow it taking place, for example, like his soldiers controlling the stadium, it can be possible the soldiers, okay, what's trying to say that Jammeh once said that there will be no inauguration on the 19th. My question is, if he does not allow it to take place, for example, like the soldiers controlling the stadium and splitting the soldiers into the army into two. As I always say, Jammeh can say whatever he wants to say. Inauguration is going to happen on the 19th, inshallah. Inshallah. Where, when, what time is to be determined by the coalition partners and president-elect. That's as much I can say that day. It's going to happen. I cannot predict, and it should happen at the Independence Stadium. That's where we have prepared the coalition partners and President-elect Barrow plan to hold this inauguration and the swearing ceremony. And as far as we know, we are inviting and asking all Gambians to prepare themselves and rally and go to the Independence Stadium on the 19th for this inauguration. But as I always stress, we have leadership on the ground. If the leadership on the ground see it fit to change the venue, change the time, or change any other arrangement, let's follow the leadership. Let's take leadership, because they are trusted, they are competent, and they have access to information we don't have, especially information coming from the security forces, information coming from the external partners, the international partner. And that's the way we should go by this. But inshallah, on the 19th, President-elect Barrow would be sworn in on the soil on Gambian soil, and he would be the president of the Gambia. And I borrow from my friend Mai Fati, Yaya Jammeh will become Jamus Jammeh as an ordinary citizen. And the other question was, does the Gambia need an army? And there was a follow-up question to say, what is my advice to present soldiers, present personnels of the Gambia Armed Forces? Yes, the question was, does the Gambia need an army? One. And what's my advice to the members of the Gambia Armed Forces? And to clarify, I did attempt to answer the question, and because of we were stressed with time, I was given apparently 2 minutes or 3 minutes to answer the question, and I attempted to do so, but I have to just because it's a very important question to answer, and especially the advice to the members of the armed forces. And I do think I do every day, but I will keep on doing it up to whenever it's necessary to stop. And during the course of asking that question, the gentleman that asked the question probably made a point thinking that probably I left the army during Yaya Jammeh's era. No, let me make a clear, and the reason probably the and he yes, he thought I left after 94, and he thought I left after 94 and seek asylum in the UK. I just want to make a clarification there first. And because yes, during my presentation I did address a bit on the army, and he acknowledged and congratulated or felicitated my stand for leaving the army. Yes, I left the army in 1992, coming after when I came back from Liberia, and I took the decision to leave the Gambian National Army. And when I was in Liberia, I had a year to go in my contract, and I was meant to finish 1993 April, to give me the 6 years of service I signed for, and that was the contract I should sign. And failing to abide by the contract, according to the Armed Forces regulations, Armed Forces Act, I should have been prosecuted to court-martial, and I took the chance and I took the route to protest my conscience, to my understanding that I have freedom of conscience as a citizen, even though I was a serving soldier. I'm still governed by the Constitution of the Gambia, and the reason was I was not happy about the way the army was governed or been run. I was not happy with the welfare and some of the political interference of the armed forces, and I did attempt to react, or we did actually we did come together, few soldiers, junior soldiers, and thought about doing something about it, which was not mature, of course, but that was then. And we thought about doing a similar thing, probably overthrowing a government. We never thought about taking over a government to install ourselves as president, or none of us. But we did identify a senior member of the armed forces, that we have trust and confidence in it. And we thought that we were capable of taking over the country and asking and holding president hostage. And in that hostage situation, the plan was to ask for that recommended member of the armed forces to come as the mediator to the hostage situation. And if he volunteered to come up for the negotiation, our plan was to ask him to declare himself the chairman of our council and to take over the country and rule for a period, transitional period, and return the country to a true democracy. This was our dream. And our state of mind then, and the state of the armed forces, and that was something that not only us, but some other comrades, and later we've learned about a lot of other plots. But mainly, and the most important, interesting thing was, yes, most of the plots from the army were radical. There were just a bunch of radicals. We can even call ourselves dead. If I look at it now, we can call ourselves daydreamers. But that is how dangerous it is to keep or constitute young men, ambitious men, active men, and train them in a combat situation, and let them sit down idle. And that was the danger. But I was privileged to learn of dozens of coups d'etats that were meant to happen before 94, and all the coups d'etats I knew about, they were all been engineered. That's why I always say been engineered by politicians, been engineered by civilians. There's no coup d'etat that can happen without political backing. If a coup d'etat happen without political backing, that's called a military mutiny. And a military mutiny, if it happens, they take a chance if there's a vacuum. And when there's a vacuum, they take the chance and take over and stage demonstration, whatever, and there's a vacuum. They take over the government. They will still need a political backing to consolidate power. You cannot force and govern people. You have, that's why I always remind Gambians, the people are the power. Soldiers cannot force you to do anything you don't want to do. And the example was, yes, the 1994 was backed by politicians. And when the soldiers took over, it come out as a mutiny. Because of what? The soldiers that did the coup d'etat for the politicians, they took the coup d'etat for themselves. But now, because of they betrayed their political masters, now they don't have any ideology and they don't have any experience to consolidate power. They had to consult senior officers who had a little bit of experience, and they helped them in the process of consolidation by explaining to them how to reach out to the opinion leaders and the council of elders, the alcalos, imamos, and to ask for a blessing and to explain themselves, and in order for them to consolidate power. That's why I said as well, who are these opinion leaders? They are the people. They are our people. That's why it's important for Gambians to recognize the power that belongs to us. The sovereignty. We are the sovereign power. We select our leaders. We elect our leaders. And they will be our head, but they are our servants. We are their boss. Yes, I went to Liberia, and just the matter of days before we go into Liberia, we did there was a conspiracy of to strike the day. We made our plans, we made our arrangements, and my dear friend Aluba, may his soul rest in peace, perfect peace, was part of the conspirators and other junior officers, junior men, not officers, men, junior NCOs. And all the plan was that if we are to go to the airport, because that then we will have access to the weapons, we will have been mobilized, and we have delegated ourselves. And all the plan was quite simple. And it's just as what they did in 1994, but even simpler than 1994. Because once we are given the task to go to leave the airport, to leave the barracks, to go to the airport, to board our flight to Liberia. Our mission was to hijack the vehicles that we have with the men. We know that the men would, we have the command, and they would answer to that, and the first vehicle would go to the airport and take over the airport, but they will not take over. They will wait for a time that we synchronize. And the second truck would be going towards the Radio Gambia, then we don't have a GRTS. And the third truck would have been crossing the Denton Bridge and going towards the State House. And the element of surprise would have been to be synchronizingly striking the State House and striking the airport and striking Radio Gambia at the same time and calling up holding President hostage. And that was our plan. And we were quite confident that with the element of surprise, a platoon could have taken over the State House. That was our plan. Probably it would not have worked, but we had belief in ourselves, we had belief in our men, and that would have come down. Yes, we left, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. The main reason is we had a place we used to camp. We had and call the Falcon Nest, and during one of the sessions, because they keep on putting us on standby. And at the end of the day, we didn't know what time we'll leave, and at the end of the day, it will be cancelled or postponed to another day. And this particular day, we were sitting there, and unknown to us, or it was not meant to happen. And they started to board the trucks to go to the airport, and they looked for us, and for God knows what reason, even the men that knew where we normally are did not think of calling us. And as the two trucks have already left, one of them remembered that we must be at the Falcon Nest. He ran. Thank you. Everything happened for a reason, and thank God it did never went to. We would have regretted it today. And we ran to the chap, P.S. Mendy. Yes, I remember the chap was Private P.S. Mendy. Ran to us and said, "Boy, the guys are running. Going." And my gallant, brave friend Aluba, I had a dispute that day because I advised against striking. I said, "Look, this must have happened for a reason, but it will never pass. If let's go to Liberia and come back. If we happen to come back and things didn't change, we can do something about it." And he turned around and tried to convince the others, but thank God, I prevailed. Rest of the men said, "Look, let's just, it must have happened to a reason. It's weird that we couldn't be remembered." And what happened is, and Aluba, the first person he was, and he cut me off. We didn't speak for weeks until we made up again in Liberia and become best of friends to the last day we last saw each other. And yeah, as we were in Liberia, and things didn't improve in Liberia either. And for a lot of reasons, and we know who, people who were responsible, but we know the political patronage, and that rendered the army ineffective, the command ineffective. And we decided, actually, during our stay in Liberia, I was there with Sajakal. Sajakal will remember this particular case. And the men thought of look, putting, going on a strike, to say. And being the role we played in ECOMOG was quite sensitive. The role of the Gambia Armed Forces in ECOMOG was a company strength, about 150 men. And the Gambia, head of the Gambia contingent was the head of he was the commander of the ECOMOG base. He was the commander of the ECOMOG base, responsible for the security of the ECOMOG base. And other responsibilities, we take care of the external and internal securities of the base. Apart with the Guineans covering the firepower and the other bit. And we decided, look, we're going to have a tools down to send a message because of the conditions that prevail during our stay. And when it escalated to the extent that the ECOMOG head of intelligence had to come and speak to us, to appeal to us not to take that action because of the insecurity it will cause, and then the psychological damage it will do, and the moral boost will give to the rebels if they know that the heart, the core backbone of the secure the operations is at meltdown. We took advice, we took counsel, but a matter of days, we had got message from the Gambia that there was a demonstration in the Gambia by the force contingent. By the way, my contingent was the second contingent to ECOMOG. We had there was a demonstration in the barracks and by Gambian returnees, force contingent combatants, and in that demonstration, and the commander of the Gambia army then was retired, and the member of the British Army training team, Colonel Sau, who was my mentor, was installed as the interim army commander, whilst the advisory or interim army commander, I think, if I'm right, and Mabajo, who wasn't the most senior Gambia army commander, but he was the most senior field commander, who was the battalion commander. We have Major Davis, who was from the engineering section, who was senior to Mabajo, but probably due to the field experience, and Maba was given the role to be the acting Gambia Armed Forces Gambia Army commander. And matter of days, Maba Job visited the contingent in Liberia, and during the visit, he called up. Obviously, he have a separate meeting with the senior officers, and the Babakar Jata was the company commander for my company, Bravo Company, I think, yeah, and Captain Sonko, who was a lieutenant, and other lieutenants. I can't remember all of them. And time have passed, and we had a meeting with the senior NCS, junior NCS, and the men. And during the meeting, I think I was the only one that spoke, and I spoke on behalf of the men, and I addressed the acting army commander, and about the reasons or our constraints, our frustrations, and every other point. As he put it, he was there for fact-finding mission. And later that night, I was invited after that meeting, and by the acting army commander, Mama Job, and all the army officers were present, and I was asked the reason I was part of the people leading a mutiny, and it was irresponsible, it was not, and all those things. And I put my case up to them. Look, it's not about me, it's about the men. I was given a responsibility to look after the welfare of the men. I'm given responsibility to command the men. And in order to boost the morals of the men, and in order to instill the discipline required, and in order to lead the men in battle or in any other duties, I have to earn their respect, they have to earn my respect, and I have to look after their welfare. And I was standing and speaking on their behalf. It was not on my behalf. And yes, we put it that day, and it was resolved. And when I walked out of that meeting, I was really mad, and I said, that's it. I didn't see a way forward here. I have to go and agitate. My reason was that I have a year to go, and I swear to God that once I touch the soil of the I went back to the men and briefed them and I said, look, we can let this flag down. We have to do our duties even better. But once I step my foot on the grounds of the Gambia, I will not serve anymore, because I am not serving a regime. I joined the Gambian National Army. to serve my people. And what I've just experienced these 5 years, I've just explained that, my understanding is that I'm serving a regime, and I know where this is going to lead. I am not interested anymore, and I'm not going to serve. And if it takes going to mile two, and one of the punishment would be to serve rest of my time, I was supposed to serve in the armed forces in mile two. But I said yes, I would rather go to a court martial, and then I can highlight the problems, and probably from my trial, experience would be learned, and the press would cover it, and probably and the conditions would be looked into, and will avert any problems arising from what is actually brewing up. Went back to Gambia, and I went on a own. I sat at home, nobody came and looked for me. And up to the day I choose to return. Unfortunately, I returned on the day that the second demonstration happened. And as I was walking to Serekunda to cross from this side of Serekunda, Dipakunda, to Superbat, to catch a bus or a transport to Yundum. I've noticed that people were really keeping attention to me, and it was really strange, because I do that all the time, and people would not blink the eyelid or anything. And yes, I went to work. The minute I got there, and as I approached the barracks, a friend of mine who was a very close friend of mine, Lieutenant Pasane Sane, Pasane Sane, Famara Sane, PF Sane, from Lamin, ran to me and said, "Oh, thank God, boy, you're not part of it." I said, "What?" He said, "Oh, the boys are demonstrating." And I said to him, "Where are they?" He said, "Oh, the Zandam stopped them at Denton Bridge." And I turned around and I said to Pasane, "You believe if I was part of the demonstration, if you believe if I pick up a gun to move on to do anything, you think I will stop at Denton Bridge?" And that's why I said they didn't have time for me that day. I spent my time in the barracks and left home. The next day I came in and I was locked up for a week, and I was taken forward to my company commander. I can't remember who it was. That's how disinterested I was. I can't remember, really. I can't remember who it was. Okay, I was asked, because one of the, if you go to you see your company commander, they ask you if you, especially depend on the severity of the offense. He asked if he wants me, if I am I'm satisfied for him to deal with this thing, or he want me to forward it to the battalion commander, acting army commander. I said, look, my case is that I have my concerns, and I'm not happy with what's happening, and I want to leave this army. And it's something that you cannot deliberate on. I'll be happy for you to forward this case to the battalion commander. And I was sent back to the slummers. I spent a month in the cells, and wait for the procedures to be gone through for me to see the battalion commander, army commander. And I think what went wrong, that I am trying to agitate to get court martial, and obviously they want to quieten me. I walked into the army commander's office, and I was the army commander looked at me and said to me, "I know what you want." Turned around, signed this thing, and said, "You are discharged from the Gambian National Army." I walked away, but I have never left. I kept my interest because of the training I have, and still the love I have for my country, and the concerns I have, knowing that change is going to happen. And I know that it's going to happen through this army. Because of the PPP government have overstayed, and there's no realistic chance that that government would change through constitutional means. The elections would not have taken the side out. We like it or not, we agree or disagree. One thing I will tell you is, and I believe that, yes, we will say that we live in a democracy before, but I'll say we lived in a resemblance of democracy. It was never free and fair during Sadauda Karabakh Jawara's time as well. Yes, it's never as bad as Yaya Jammeh. I will never compare anything to Yaya Jammeh's rule. Intimidation do happen. I remember Basse, Honorable MC Cham, used to go around to intimidate certain villages in the URR, and other MPs used to do that. I know of vote irregularities. I have uncles that would be dropping off the back of the truck within 3 months from Guinea, and I've witnessed them registered by the PPP, and they will go and vote for the PPP. I have seen the same thing that Yaya Jammeh does, and bring out citizens of Senegal from the Casamas region to Bakau or Talending or other locations, and register them Fajara, and they vote for the PPP. We have seen it all. Yaya Jammeh read from the rule book of the PPP, but he overdone it. Yes, he overdone it. He overdone it. That's why we have to take in account. We cannot just blame everything that happened 22 years on this 22 years. We have to look to what brought this 22 years on us, and then we can walk forward. We have to look to the past and consider the present and plan for the future. That's the only way we can learn our lesson. Yes, I stayed in touch with the armed forces because I have comrades, I have friends. They are part of my family. And but when I went back from military duties, I was a private citizen. I decided to do what I do best, or what I know best, or what my traditions are, buying and selling. And I was engaged in series of mini investments, and yes, and enjoy life as much as possible. But I decided as well to go back to my community. To do what? To be part of community development. And I think one of the things, and I think the other thing too, I think it was the agitation part of me, because that was the time that the PPP government trying to privatize the you see, some of this history we have to repeat it. They tried to privatize the water taps in Bakau. And with a friend of mine, we used to go and agitate. And to the extent of the KMC starting to try to close some of the taps. And we in fact went and sabotaged some of this thing and cut off the open some of the things in Bakau. We cut it off for people to you use it rather than this thing. And the other initiative I did was I did a consultations with local things and organized, and we started. And their argument was that the bills are too high, they cannot pay for all this and so on. Regardless, we pay our taxes. Regardless, we pay our rates and everything else. And they could come up with a progressive idea of increasing rates or cutting or looking at efficiency savings and stuff like that. They didn't do that. They were so comfortable. That is what happened when you don't have democracy, because you are so comfortable. You think that you are the master. You're not the servant. That's what happened with the PPP. And Yaya Jammeh took the arrogance to another level. To influence one thing about the PPP, at least they respected us. And I read part of this. We organized, and I said, look, if that is the case now, we will start even controlling the water taps. And we had these locks we made, and I went and formed committees, local committees, and we don't use we have our own tap in our house, but this is what we have, one just adjacent to my mom's house. And we organize and we give these keys to the old ladies that wake up early and stuff like that to control it. And there was time we open it and close it because kids would not come and start bathing, because Bakau kids do that a lot. They go to the beach, swim, and some of them, they are not, the parents ask them not to go swimming or stuff like that. They will go to botanic garden which is used to be beautiful. We go to botanic garden to rinse ourselves, or once we rinse ourselves, our body becomes very shine. And in order to disguise that shyness, we go and take the soil, the dirty soil, and rub it all over us. And I was not fortunate. It doesn't work for me. It worked for my colleagues because I was lighter skinned. It doesn't work for me. I always stand out. I always stand out. But we used to do that, and they used to do it with the street taps as well. We used to go to the at times we come from Cape Point. We'll go to via the cemetery, and there's a tap at the cemetery. We do that. All those things, wasting water and so. Okay, we say now, okay, we control the use of water, but the Bakau, you see, that's Bakau again, rebels. The Bakau women, what they did, they decided to ambush Jawara. You see, that was the beauty. I'll tell you. That's why I said I will never compare the PPP government and APRC. The Bakau women knew Jawara was so secure. Jawara has a regular set of time that he drive around Old Cape Road and go for a golfing game at Fajara. And this woman knew the time. It was always around 5 o'clock. And they took, this coconut branches and a trunk. And I don't know where they dragged the trunk from. Trunk of a coconut tree. And they put it on the side of the road. The minute they had the silence coming, they pushed the trunk in front of the road. And the force escort rider that came in fact toppled over. And the women start banging their what you call it? And then buckets, and saying that they want water and left a jewel or something like that, agitated Jawara, and Jawara had to stop. Jawara had to stop. And Jawara stopped and even listened. Jawara listened. Jawara didn't run away. Jawara didn't turn around and drive. No. Jawara stopped. And information was sent to Fajara barracks. And I remember it. I think it was Ibrahim Chongan that attended the incident. And Ibrahim Chongan came and negotiated with the women, and they opened up the barriers. That was Gambia. Imagine doing that to Yajam. Imagine ambushing Yajam with that. But that was then. These are the things we did. And one day, I started to hear about rumors of a coup d'etat. I started following the interest, and yes, and the coup d'etat happened, and what happened. But the reason is, the coup d'etat was, the army was constituted wrong. The army was governed wrong. My long narration is just to explain where we come from through the army and stuff like that, the political. Do we need an army? My argument is yes. What do we need an army for? What is an army? What's the need of an army for? Since the beginning of time, every society, every community will have something called an army. Even animals have an army. Armies have a purpose. If you decide to have an army, you have to look at the purpose that you want that army to serve. An army is an institution. You have to make sure that army is sustainable. You have to make sure that army is effective. You have a plan for that army. You have to make sure they are disciplined, they are professional in order to have the army. And how do you do that? You have a strategic defense plan. You sit down and think about it. Why do we need an army? What do we need an army for? What are they going to do? How would it be sustainable? How can we have an army and sustain it? The cost it takes to maintain an army. And is it necessary? Would it add to national development? If the answer is yes to all of this, then it's right to have an army. Then you decide what strength should it be? How much of army do we need? What do we need it for? Yes, an army is for internal and external defense, security, to deal with internal and external threat. Yes, if you have a good public, if you have a good external affairs relations, if you have a good international relations. You minimize the threat to external incursion. You reduce the threat to your country. Just like in England or in the West here, they said it's because of the wrong the international relationship we have, the policies we have, again, the way we treat Israel, the way we back Israel, the way we treat the Palestinian problems, the way we treat the Islamic Ummah. This is the reason. That's why we have a problem. Part of the problem we have with terrorism, this is the reason. Yes, probably. In the Gambia, if we have army, it's not necessary that we have a threat from another sovereign state. No, we won't have a threat from another sovereign state because we don't share boundaries. The threat to another sovereign state is when you share boundaries, you are likely to have. If you have a boundary with another sovereign state, then you are likely to have a dispute with that country. But if you have an excellent relationship, if you have a good relationship with the country, as we have with Senegal, we would not have a security threat from Senegal. And as far as it's concerned, we cannot build an army that can defend us against Senegal or any other country because of the nature of our state and our economy. War is economy. But what we can do is to be a responsible government that would constitute and act responsibility, that we will have protection from international communities, that no other sovereign state will dare get us or trample onto our rights or our sovereignty because of we will be protected. So Toñu can do Toñ in this sense. And because we are part of the international communities, we will sign treaties, we will have agreements and defense pact with international countries that would guarantee our security. Then what do we need? An army. An army can be very effective in a sense of to be an area to train youths on skill-based apprenticeship, as it is in England here. England, the army is the biggest recruiter for apprenticeship in all trades. We can have a sizable army that would, because of the nature of the discipline, that would be in the army to train youths to come out of it and serve the public. We would need an army in a sense of emergency. What sort of emergency? We will need for natural disasters, break out of epidemic. For instance, when we have the Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone and other West African states, who were the most active personnels? It was the armed forces. Even the doctors supplied from other countries, they were part of they came from the army. And when we have bushfires and any other country, we need to control and contain the movement of people or the threat of anything else. We will need an organized force. We will need an organized group. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be word army, but they should serve a purpose. We will need something like that. Yes, we can have a sizable army, professional army that will serve in peacekeeping missions. We are a sovereign state. We are part of the community of states. We should stand to contribute and to participate as a sovereign state. We should have and it does add to the GDP. It does add to the welfare of the armed forces and help even to maintain the armed forces and do give experience to citizens. And remember, the people that serve in the armed forces are employed and they are members of they are citizens of the Gambia, and they will be paying taxes once they're employed. They get salaries, and I mean it's part of creating an part of the economy. And remember, there are economic arguments that look. I mean, you can print money and pay people to spend, and I mean it does happen here. Quantitative easing does happen, and the social. There are many ways you manage an economy, and probably it might be a source of employment. and control and at the same time adopting national development. Yes, if we come to the main core of security, what are the threats? What are the external threats that Gambia would need an army for? Yes, we would need a sizable, trained professional crack forces armies forward. Hostage situation. Gambia is a tourist destination where we have Americans, we have British, we have EU tourists. They are targeted by who? Islamists. If Gambia cannot assure, because even for airlines to operate, within the Gambia, Gambia have to assure, Gambia have to meet certain security risk assess this thing. I think is different organizations do look after this. For America, it's a different standard. For EU, it's a different standard. For other Africans, it's a different standard. It's an aviation required security requirements you need to have in order to able to you have to assure the business community, you have to assure the airline industries, you have to assure the tour operators that your country is safe. You should have an army to deal with a hostage situation. What about if Gambia is a soft target? Islamists know that they don't have an army, they don't have a police force. And they are a Muslim country, majority Muslim country. Yes, we are not Islamic country, but we are majority. We can easily blend in. We can go and open a charity. We can go and do dawah. During the dawah, we can be mingling. We can do this and do that. And one day we'll strike. And the minute you have a situation and wasn't contained, the damage is everlasting. The damage will be everlasting. If we have a situation and it's managed by the Gambian army, Gambian personnel, and handle it well, yes, we have that situation. But because of the reassurance we did that if we happen to have a situation, we can contain it, then we will, within a month, within a year, we can reassure visitors. It's important in that sense. And in all the other sense. This is the reason that we have armies. But we have to do it responsible. We don't need an army. Well, we have to balance it. We don't need an army that will use an artillery. We don't need an army that will use a mortar. We don't need an army that will use long-range missile, ground-to-air missile. We don't need it. We don't have a threat of attack from above. What, as a sovereign state, you have to assure. You cannot subcontract your security. A government cannot subcontract their security to another sovereign state. Then you are not sovereign. That's the reason for an army. A government cannot subcontract their security to another sovereign state. Then you are not independent. You are not a sovereign state. You should be able to at least guarantee the peace and stability by your own people. And in that sense, if it is overspill, if Gambia, because of we will have treaties that would help out if it is anything more than we can handle. But we should engage the threat force. We should deal with the threat force, contain the threat. If it's going to be an overspill, Senegal would not sit down and watch. Where the overspill will happen, into Senegalese territory, they have the interest into the stability of their country, then should they have interest into the stability of the Gambia. In essence, and another bit, which probably people just looked at and say it's silly. No. And we have a history, and military is part of the Gambia history. We will need a ceremonial duties to be performed. When we have visiting dignitaries, we have to accord them a guard of honor. A guard of honor is done by what you call them, an army, whatever you call them, they are done by servicemen. We have ceremonial duties that we do, guard of honors for dignitaries. This is part of our culture. We cannot run away from it. The colonization is part of our culture. We cannot cut that off out of us. It's a tradition that we contributed, Gambia contributed immensely, considering the size in the fight for civilization in the Second World War. And all that is part of a ceremony that Gambia need to, but have to, perform. We call it a citizen army. What call it whatever we want. And it can be effective. It can be of national development, but it needs planning. It's an institution like every other institution. And the most important thing is education. It's not only the army that need education, it's the Gambian people that need enlightenment and education. We have to revisit our curriculum. Our curriculum should fit for purpose. Gambian history have to be taught. And my suggestion would be by Dr. Jagan Senghor, History of Senegambia, or History of Integration, or Political History of the Gambia by Dr. Jagan Senghor from 1950 to 1994. That should be a secondary school curriculum. Every secondary school leaver should understand the history of Senegambia before understanding the history of any other region. Because if you understand our our history from 1950 to 1994, and obviously, from 1994 to date will be teach along civic education in current affairs or something like that. But that could be teach in history. But this is civic education should be taught. In society in different ways, and in that way, people will be so enlightened, and people will be empowered. We need to empower people. The only way we empower people is through education. We have to be politically educated. It's a disgrace that we have educated Gambians or who call themselves educated, but they still don't understand anything about our history. They don't understand anything. That's why it took us so long to get here. That's even reason I can say if the PPP failed, one of the areas they failed was to educate Gambian on Gambian history. The other area was to communicate their achievements, because the PPP have achieved a lot. If you understand the history of the Gambia, especially that's why I said from 1950. When Gambia when the Gambia got independence from Britain, if you understand how we got our independence, if you understand that the PPP introduced institutions, the PPP introduced the central bank, and it was effective. Gambia Central Bank was effective. It was one of the most prudent central banks in the West Africa, and Africa for that matter. The Dallas was stable. Imagine the Gambia was one of the first multi-party democracies in Africa. After independence, straight after independence, Gambia one of the first. Politically, even compared to Senegal, we were ahead of Senegal in the political island. When Senghor was prosecuting his opponents, Jawara wasn't. If PPP have communicated well by explaining themselves well, their achievements, the central bank is one. The Social Security Housing Finance Corporation, it was an institution completely introduced by the PPP. And remember, when the whole world had economic collapse, a recession. When the world had a recession, Gambia was one of the first countries that came out of that recession through the ERP, the Economic Recovery Program. And in fact, Gambia became a case study for other countries to learn from. Gambia had one of the most effective civil service. service, up to the extent of when the Southern African countries became independent, they had to come and learn from the Gambia. How did they transcend from colonial rule to independent with an effective civil service? All those were achievements, but they were never taught in schools. Yes, my sister, we didn't even know about constitution, what a constitution was. We learned about F.K. Bois and other histories of Ghana, the Ghana Empire, even the Mali Empire. We didn't know it as we should. We didn't understand it all. The achievement of the central bank, the achievement of the social security, this thing. Just imagine the idea behind it, and it went well. The pension savings scheme, the housing packages. Imagine how many families came out to be middle class families due to the housing provision given by the social security housing finance to boycotting. Remember, some of these people that had the housing were grade 4 and up to grade 12, which was not really nothing. Those people would have been in rented accommodations or overcrowded populations. But because of the initiative by the Social Security Housing Corporation, they had a step on the housing ladder. And probably some of them use it as collateral in order to develop themselves or their families. And they had an extra piece of land that they developed. Go and look at Kubakofe. Cardiff housing estate. Those are the kind of responsible government we talked about. We can say that during the Yahya Jammeh government, nothing absolutely. He bankrupted. It was liquid. The social security housing fund was a vehicle for investment, because they invested in when the Gambia Commercial Development Bank was bankrupt. They stepped in and bought shares. They invested in the parastatals. I mean, it was a vehicle, and they had other social responsibilities that they helped out in. And the achievement argument, but they didn't communicate it. Because if you overstay in power, you become lazy. If you don't have a democratic system, an active democratic system, what happened? You've been complacent. You think that I'll be here no matter what. That's why we need to build a vibrant, and we have to have a civil society, and we have to become a nation of volunteers. We have to become a nation of entrepreneurs. And the deme of the conference today, which was about the by Grab. You see, this is the initiative. Grab, just look how they based in Birmingham. I'm here. It's an advisory group. I mean, the brilliant ideas these young gentlemen, I can say young gentlemen, because Koto James Bahum is the father of the group. And yes. And imagine the Gambian diaspora. Imagine the Gambian people. Imagine how much, as I said today, the Gambian diaspora is the most effective, most active African diaspora you will ever find. Go around, look at Zaire, look at Angola, look at all the other countries, rich countries, and look at their citizens. Go to their diaspora radios. We hardly communicate anything on our radio apart from to enlighten the people and to stand up to confront the evil in that country. Go and see what happened in Congo and other countries, and look at the lifestyle or the way the diaspora live in their district. It's only possible. Yes, I know that Gambians are humble. I know the Gambian diasporans are humble. Mbai Dabo, Ben, I am asking again, why are we not talking about Deputy Chief of Defense General Y. Drabe and under this bad regime, Jammeh, why we are silent about him? Mbai Dabo, I'll tell you, I know about, it's a disgrace. He is sitting there. He doesn't care. I will say that for what. He doesn't even report to work most of the time. We do inquire about him. We didn't want to waste our time with him. If you cannot, if we have to use our time effectively. If we know that we cannot, you see, he should be a smart person. He should be responsible enough. He was who was someone we should have relied on. And I would say that I'll call him useless because we never heard of him. If not even, have you seen him anywhere? Have you seen him on TV, on video, or speak him talking about anything? You will not see him. He is just saving his skin. He is just saving his skin. He should have been the person who headed the people's power. He should be the person who rallied the forces to stand behind President Adam Barrow. That's why we have trust in most of the junior officers. Most of the other senior officers from the rank of major, even lieutenant colonels. Yankuba Drame, as far as I can tell you, have not participated. I might be wrong. If he is doing anything that we are not aware of, he will be given the chance to explain himself. And on the 19th, we all Gambians will, especially people in responsibility, would stand and explain themselves. He has to tell us what, and we hope we still have to up to the 19th for him to prove himself. If probably, let me qualify this. Probably I've spoke quite quickly. Probably he's doing something we're not aware of. But as far as I'm concerned, you put that question to me. Why is he silent? It's a good question. I've not even seen him. We do inquire about him. We know that he hardly report to office. You see, that's at times, that's why I said, when we reassure you guys is, I know we are worried. Because we think that there's a big army out there waiting for us, or waiting for the people, or waiting for any echo mark. No. Last night at 3 o'clock, I was sitting here monitoring, and I decided, look, let me just call and find out what's happening in State House. And the guy said to me, boy, demal Teddy, man mangi needed them Teddy. This guy was in State House 3 o'clock. Because you know about all this rumor telling, oh, they would want to do this. Muna boy, demal Teddy, man mangi need them Teddy. Mana ko way muna ma boy jamme xana xamole ne su ECOWAS ñëwé sa motax mu day am ngelaw muna ma ki kenn du ko gis veranda bi sa du fa ñëw muna ma billahi amna lu bari luy dem on you people you attribute to jamme fum ne ni jamme palata du Gambia jamme is so down muna ma jamme kenn du ko gis jamme halata du Gambia. It's only few people have access to jamme. That's what he told me. 3 a.m. No. I called Fajara Barracks. I got the same thing. I called Yundum Barracks. I got the same thing. You know, my boy, Temal Tiranaro. We are not worried. Actually, we are not worried. Chobi, yeb ñun xam nañ what's going on. Ñu ciow yeb duñ def dara. Amuñ capabilities yi duñ ko def, and we are not more motivated to do anything. All the people told are opportunists. They will take the next opportunity. Mota malelen su Yankuba Drame waxut. I'm dumbfounded. I would expect him to be seen. Mbaidabo, have you seen Yankuba Drame in any video? Have you seen him anywhere else? Have you heard about him? No. Yes, I did inquire because I know him. I served with him. And yeah, I do respect him before, but from now on, he has to prove himself after the 19th. What was he doing? What was he doing? Probably he will come out on the night of the 18th and prove us all wrong. I want people to prove us wrong. I want even the people that we accuse to prove us wrong. We want them to prove us wrong. That's why we have to tell our people, Jammeh doesn't have control. You see, I could sit down here and point out to 100 areas or 100 things that tells you that Jammeh doesn't have control. But why wouldn't I do not do that? Someone will go and act on that to prove something, because they listen to us, and that would be irresponsible of me. But we are confident that Jammeh doesn't have control. We are confident that the people we think that Jammeh relied on, they are all desperately thinking of their survival, because they are opportunists. If people only fight because they are patriotic, they're fighting for a cause, they're fighting because something they believe, because they're fighting, there's a threat to their life. Yes, they will fight if there's a threat to their life. That's why we don't agitate them. That's why we don't push them. We're waiting for the day to come and we take over our government peacefully. Yaya Jammeh either run or he will be arrested. If he resists, he will be killed or he will be captured. Those are the three things. Because the capabilities are there, and we have trust in the Gambian Armed Forces even to do it for us. But just for guarantees, we have the international community. Yes, as the lies they put out there yesterday, GRTS, saying that Adama Barrow ran away. The proof is in the pudding. We all have seen the endorsement for Adama Barrow. Just imagine Adama Barrow standing with ECOWAS head of states. Not only ECOWAS head of state, a senior. President of France is a senior member. Apart from Germany, France is the most senior, and Britain, they are the three senior members of the EU. Got endorsement from the EU. And France is Holland is part of the Security Council. You think, just imagine the power behind us. Just imagine the power behind the people of the Gambia. And look at those pictures. You know what I did? And please, can you all inbox those pictures of Adama Barrow at Mali with Hollande and the presidents to all the Gambians you know, all your inbox of Gambians you know, and all the soldiers you know. They prove that they have a new commander-in-chief, to prove that we have a new president. This is, you see, that's why I said we don't appreciate at times our achievements. It talks of volume for Yaya Jammeh to be held in that rat hole and President-elect Adama Barrow to be among his equals. That's the strongest statement you can ever ask for. And you see the confidence, the respect accorded to him. Can you remember the language, body languages you see when Jammeh appear in the international circles? Because they looked at him as a clown. When he goes around Arab states, head of state, they all looked at him. You remember that picture that Gaddafi was pointed at him laughing with all the sticks and the crews. Imagine an eccentric person like Gaddafi laughing another clown. Look at now the respect we already started to gain again. It reminds you, probably some of the young ones, you will not remember seeing Jawara. Yes, we remember the Jawara's visit to China. We remember some of the visits to Jawara, the newspaper cuttings, to all the other capitals of the world. That's the pride that's been renewed again, just the visit to Mali. That's enough confidence. That should be enough confidence to our Gambian people to come out on the 19th. That should be enough confidence to Gambian people not to be scared, to stay, not to be living the combos or trying to get out of the boundaries of the Gambia. Inshallah, we'll have peace and tranquility in that country. Look at this endorsement. Where is the lies that Oje Jallow ran? Oje Jallow is back in the Gambia Friday. Where's the lies that the APRC, the rest of the remnants of the APRC walked around, Adama Barrow even have abandoned the cause and ran away? That's how desperate these people are. how desperate these people are. What did they do? Adama Barrow. But this is the proof of it, put it. Come on the 19th, President Adama Barrow will be president of Republic Gambia, and Yaya Jammeh, Jamus have to choose. Jamus have to choose. President, 6 foot up, or run away. There is this option, 3 options. But Gambia would celebrate, Gambia would inaugurate, Gambia would swear in their new president-elect. And the other lie, remember, the GRTS, they lied about the ECOWAS, and they said that ECOWAS said that they are not sending an intervention force. You see how desperate these people are. They forgot that we are in the 21st century. Social media, the proofs are everywhere. Guess what happened today? The chief of staff for ECOWAS countries meeting at Abuja, preparing for Gambia. The proof is out there. But we have to communicate to them. Remember, there's a news blackout. Apart from social media, they don't have access. They only have access to GRTS, and they don't even listen to GRTS anymore. Rice field, 24 hours of no rest. Yes, Tony said the steam corner SAM missile. No, it's not that one. The explosion that happened with the Guinea-Bissau who were training the Gambian soldiers, it was mortars. It was mortars. See, what they don't realize is all these Guinea-Bissau instructors they had, they are not even, they don't read a pamphlet. All these people were rudely trained. And the most important thing of weapon training is weapon handling. Safety first. And that was the thing that happened. The SAMs at Steam Corner, they are 57 millimeter. They have never been fired. It have never been fired, tested by Gambian soldiers. It came from Iran Soviet era. And when they tried to reassemble it, a part was not going in properly, and they had to, it was corroded. They took the part to Turkey to replicate it, because of that part is not manufactured anymore. That part never came back. It is a dummy. Because they put a dummy out there. It's even not, look, you cannot put a SAM missile visible. You need to be calm up. Not to be seen from a distance. It's useless. It's useless. And a SAM is only useful to unequal. But if you have an air force and you have a SAM missile, no, it would not do it, because the SAM has not been protected by air defense system. You don't know what direction the jet fighter is going to fly from. You don't have an air defense system. Then why have a SAM missile? Because you don't, look at it. This direction of the SAM missile is east. East to where? The mangroves. Who told them that the threat is coming from the mangroves? Who told them that the threat is coming from the mangroves? What are they going to do? Even if it was brand new working order, what are they going to do? What? It's useless. It's just to intimidate people. He knows that Yaya Jammeh is not trying to intimidate ECOWAS. Yaya Jammeh is intimidating Gambians. It's trying to stop Gambians for not to go to the inauguration. Yes. You see, Jammeh, I know it's a hard times. The period of wait, 60 days, it's hard times. But it's a blessing is in disguise. And yeah, Tony, and the other 57 millimeters, that is the one they mount on the vehicle. You know, when Yaya Jammeh is running around with this, they say, oh, anti-aircraft. Do you know that one? They only tested it 8 times. They fired 8 shots from it. Anytime they fire a shot, it jumps. And now they are not bothered to fire shots. They don't bother to use it. It's all just for a show. It's just a deterrent. It's just a deterrent. There's no effective mechanism in the Gambia armed forces that would deter any determined soldier, especially international forces. No. There's no will to fight from the Gambia armed forces. It's logical. Because they are not fighting to protect. The only people who would logically, if you ask yourself, who would be logically wanting to fight would be the people who are ready to fight for their dignity, who are ready to fight for their people. But not who. Why do you want to fight for Yajame, who have already lost power? Completely. You have seen the evidence. Adam was invited, Yajame wasn't invited. That's a strong statement. That's a strong statement. That's why we should be ready to go and celebrate. What, you think the soldiers are stupid to kill themselves for Yaya Jammeh? Even the people that benefited during Yaya Jammeh. Why would they kill themselves? They are not motivated to fight. Because they know that they cannot stop it. They don't have people to fight with them. We should have that confidence. Already the Director of Intelligence in the National Intelligence Service, Sheikh Tijan Jeng, the person that signed the affidavit for solo sending and the Nogonjai Fatu Jawar, this thing and everything, he's run away. He have abandoned it. We should have this confidence. You see, even closing the radio stations. I'll tell you, if those people have resisted not to be closed down, yeah, nobody will close them down. Who did Yaya Jammeh send? Police officers. Who did Yaya Jammeh send? Few NIA officers. Slap them to get back. But remember, as I always said, and I will put this caution. I won't name the person. I am yet to call the person back. I was at the conference. And I keep on having an inbox from a person without a name. In fact, he's got a business name. And asking me to come and agitate to ask people to vacate Banjul. How dumb he think I am. I don't know. He said it's a strategy. I said to him, where did I have the authority to command people or ask people to do something on the ground? Why? He said, no, it's a strategy. I said, who are you? I don't even know you. You want me to go on Facebook Live to tell Banjulians to go out of Banjul. And you call that a strategy. Do I have the authority? No. I said, we have leadership on the ground. And this is my caution. Let us not take anything. No position and wait for the leadership. Because of the reason I'm saying this, we don't have all the information. The leadership have information that they could not share with us. I know we want to know, but at times we can't know of these things because they are sensitive. They deal with, let's have trust and faith in our leadership. With our leadership. This person, the person wanted me to call him. I think he's genuine. Probably he's just overtaking his responsibilities, or he's agitated, or he's thinking that it's an idea. But it's the way he's trying to ask me. That's why I'm saying, let no anybody be gullible to say anything regarding trying to move people out, take people out, apart from convincing people to stay in their houses and do something responsible and listen to the leadership. We have a leadership. We have a government in wait. Let's follow the leadership. Let us not react. Let us be patient. Let us not react. Let us not be agitated. Let us not be moved. They would try anything to destabilize the peace we aspire for. I know we don't have peace right now. Yes, and there's this story going on. Can someone text me to say whether it's a joke or what? Apparently, Sidinjai's name is not Sidinjai. Sidinjai's name is something Baji. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, but I mean, it's interesting if Yaya Jammeh is desperate to have a general who's called Solbaji and his real name is Kalfa, and now we have a minister of information. Yaya Jammeh, not us, Yaya Jammeh have a minister of information who is not a member of parliament, who's not even what he's supposed to be. It's interesting. I've seen Femi Mahoney agitating and I'm thinking it's a joke or not, but I think Femi is not joking. It's real and it might be true. Just tell you the kind of desperation. That's why you have these people who walk around and lie through their teeth. Yes, the Sinijai Ministry of Information, misinformation. The Ministry of Misinformation. Gambia, let's take this as a blessing in disguise. You know now, if we had gone through the constitution and Yahya Jammeh just considered defeat, we would have go through the constitution. And you know what the constitution says about retired head of state? It's what Jawara is accorded now. And Jawara is not even accorded what it says in the constitution, because the security given to him, Jawara house should not be in fire. Jammeh have renegated from the promises that he gave and stimulated in the in the constitution. Then Jammeh, after the 19, Jammeh would have been given the constitutional rights to go and stay as a retired head of state, to stay in Kanilai or wherever it agreed, to stay in there with probably plundering our resources and waiting to agitate. And because he will still have a resemblance of control and he's still got funds everywhere, you see, we would have a security nightmare because we would have been thinking of him deciding what to do. And he could have been successful in agitating or dislodging or fermenting something for crisis force. But do you know what we have now? We have the perfect scenario. Jammeh might have to go, and we'll go for him. The only good thing about that is, at least the anxiety that is bothering our families back home and some of our people around in the diaspora. I tell you, I'm not, no anxiety, it's bothering me. Yes, the anxiety that bothers me is the one bothering the people, not me thinking. I make up my mind that, look, whatever happened with Jammeh now would be for the best, because I know that God would decree the best outcome for Jammeh. As God would decree the best outcome for us. All of ne suñ la fayee sa bor rek bon loolu la bileerut moo baaxut. Then, if that is the case, what's the other scenario? The best scenario would be Jammeh to be captured. And then Jammeh will be stripped. Even the ground boobers will be stripped of Jammeh. Jammeh would be left with a prison uniform. Jammeh would be left with prison uniform. My guys, just imagine how beautiful that is. Jammeh would be left with his white fronts and his prison uniform in Malto. Would you say no to that? That's the next possibility we have. That's the possibility we have. Can't we not celebrate that or keep on praying that we have that in our hands? Without bloodshed, it can happen. Yes. There's evidence now they found out. They finally. You see, that night I was talking about the special forces, and I said, yeah, I have to talk about the special forces in the Gambia. I talk about the special forces they knew about. The ones they saw in the... Come on. They talked about the... Just a minute, someone is walking past. I don't want her to be in camera. Yeah, we talked about. I talked about the special forces in the American embassy, the ones they spotted and thought the Americans have entered the country. And yes, I knew there were reinforcement already in the Gambia, and they were lodged at the Coco Ozone as tourists. I didn't talk about it, but today they find out about it, and they went to provoke. Just imagine, some of these lunatics went to provoke the American Special Forces in the Saratan. Those people just avoided and walked away, and they've changed their location to another location we know of. But the rest of them went and lodged with the American inside the American residence, American embassy residence. That's why when I was agitating, say that that's why Jammeh is hiding. Jammeh have a reason to hide. That's why I said there are possibilities that Jammeh can be snatched without a shot be fired. Why can't we pray for that? So that we can be stripped to the white fronts and taken to prison. And when the white fronts are dirty, if he wants to wear any underwear, we'll give him kulembeng. You know kulembeng? You know when the kids, they used to do them draws, that the underwear that they show through the tailor. The remnants of the cloth cut from the tailor, Ben, what would you do with the PIU? The present PIU, I'll tell you, would be dismantled completely. They are not fit for purpose. Just as the NIA have to dismantle. But if I say the PIU will be dismantled, if I say the NIA will be dismantled, responsible. They will be dismantled, responsible. They would, not all of the personnel of the PIO, but some of the people that committed crimes will be taken out. The others will be integrated into society. We have a lot of use for people. They are citizens of the Gambia. We don't want to create a criminal enterprise. You don't have people that you train to use guns and everything, and you let them all loose in society. No. At times we might be angry, but let's remember, the soldiers, even the ones that committed crimes, are Gambian citizens. And we have to act responsibly. We must say that, why should we spend our money on them? Why do we spend money on criminals in prison? To rehabilitate them, because they are citizens. That's what a civilized society do. That's what a civilized society do. To rehabilitate people. Yes, some of them, some people, some crimes, people have to be put out of bounds, and they would never be released back to society, because you will never rehabilitate some of these people. You can't. But that too will be done legally. You have you'll have a parole panel, or what you call it, and that will review the sentences. You cannot just close someone locked up. I know you Americans do. But we the English, we don't do that. We will have to look at the individual cases, unless the panel of appeal panels or the parole panel looked at it and said, look, he's still a risk to society, they'll be kept. That's what would happen to them. But it's total reform. Probably the army, obviously nobody would need to recruit anymore. We have to cut it off. We have to restructure it. We have to do all that thing responsible. Everything have to be done responsible. But first things first, on the 19th, let's prepare for the 19th. Let's prepare to celebrate. And another thing first, let's still talk to our people. Let's reassure our people to relax and just have enjoy their freedom, the freedom they fought for. Let them enjoy it. It's not, I know that it's hard to imagine that, and you can tell them, oh no, it's all peaceful. No, definitely it is. I cannot say what's going to happen during the inauguration. I think it all depends on the day. I'll tell you, time, everything can change. I mean, tomorrow morning something can change. We don't need a parade. It all depends what is possible. All we need is the important bit, the constitutional bit, so that the president-elect can be officially the president of the Republic of Gambia. It doesn't take 5 minutes to make it legal, to be decided. He is the legal elected president. He's the elected president, but it's just a matter of 5 minutes. The rest is just a ceremony. We do the 5 minutes. It doesn't say we have to do it in the stadium. It doesn't say we have to do it at the Makati Square. It didn't say we have to do it anywhere else. We can do it anywhere else. 5 minutes, right? The most important is that it's done. And we have a president, we have a cabinet. And guess what? Finish. We celebrate any other day. Independence is around the corner. 18th February, we have a proper independence again. We'll have a proper independence again. And this time round even will be better. You see, as I said, God worked in mysterious way. This time will be better. We will be sure of the security. We'll be sure of the date of celebration. And do you know how many Gambians would celebrate Independence Day then? Probably Independence Day will be the day that we'll celebrate our victory. I cannot tell you who would provide security, but I tell you, we have a leadership on the ground. Everything will be looked at. That's why I said all depend on the security on the ground. They will be doing, things will be done responsibly. What the condition allowed, that's what we're going to have. If we allow us, if the security conditions are conducive for us to have it at the stadium, we have it at the stadium. Yes, I've read a statement, a true statement actually, because I collaborated, that the retired General Buhari, president of Nigeria, he turned around to Usman Baji and said to him, "Where is the security for Barrow?" And he turned around to General to Buhari and said, "Sir, I'm waiting for orders." And Buhari said something to the word that if you cannot decide to provide security for your elected president, you are not fit to be a general, or not even fit to be a lance corporal. You see? You're not even fit to be a lance corporal. That's what Buhari said to him. That's why people who keep on spreading rumors that Yaya Jammeh was rude to Buhari. Buhari is one person that doesn't take no. Buhari was coup d'etat because he was strict. He was coup d'etat as a president because he was strict. He's a disciplinarian. You think a general worth his salt like Buhari would sit someone like Jammeh to subordinate him or talk to him disrespectfully? That's impossible. Those are rumors that people will banter around, but that will never happen. Maidabo, you joking? After the 19, are we going to have access to GRTs? After the 19, we have access to everything. Yaya Jammeh would have to vacate everything. We have access to everything. We'll have access to everything. Guys, it's late now. I have to go to work tomorrow morning. But thank you very much. And it took so long. I just wanted to answer to those questions we had at the conference today. I'll say again, thank you very much for you guys all listening and following the Facebook. And please spread the message, share the message, and especially the pictures of Barrow at the summit. Can you just please inbox everybody, especially soldiers and everybody else in the Gambia? Let them spread it around as much as possible. If they can even print it and start putting it everywhere in the Gambia, people to see the new president. And yes, I don't know some of these answers. And thank you very much to Approved Finance for sponsoring the conference today. Thank you very much for GRAB for the initiative. and organizing such a successful, well attended, well paneled contributors. And thank you for all the organizers of this conference. That provided food and beverage and the attention given to all the panelists and every guest in that place. And it was beautiful to see Gambians again and in a celebrated atmosphere. And it was really nice to have the national anthem sung at the last part of the fair, and everybody sang to the national anthem and cheered. And it was really refreshing to be part of the, with those people. And thank you to my dear sister that was on all the media present during the deliberation of the conference, and specifically the Afro-Licious show, and with Jagan, Jagan. Yes, that sister. Thank you very much, guys. Ñu fanaan jàmm yal nañu yàlla may ba jàmm yal nañu yàlla indil jàmm yal nañ jàppa yaa jàmm si loxo te balbum taaka bu si kenn torox bu si kenn sona yal na Gambia dem si kanam ñu fanaan jàmm yal nañu yàlla beetee baane. Thank you very much to you all. Thank you.